Back in 2020, a Georgia registered investment advisor, same position as me, he scammed his clients out of about $10 million. The crazy thing about this is he still has not been caught. His name was Christopher Burns, and on a Friday back in 2020, the SEC was going to come and they were going to audit him. Him, knowing that he was not going to do very well in that audit, decided on Thursday night he was going to make a break for it, and since then, he's not been found. In fact, he was even working with his wife on some paperwork and getting things transferred over into her name that evening, and later she found out that those were divorce papers and that he was planning this for a long time. So how did this even happen, and how can somebody be on the watch for something like this, and are you going to be able to get the $150,000 for finding Mr. Burns? Wouldn't it be a tragic thing if you or somebody that you knew lost your entire life savings to somebody that you trusted? That's exactly the situation that happened with Christopher Burns. He actually had spots on a radio station up in Atlanta, and he would have been a trusted voice in the industry at the time. What he did was he would talk to people about staying away from risky assets, staying away from crypto scams, and what he would promote were low-risk investments that were backed by collateral. This is the type of investment that is attractive to people who may have lost money in the past or just like keeping the money that they have. And a lot of times this is the type of person that is willing to trust somebody as long as they're willing to sit down with them and shoot straight. But the problem was this: that collateral that he talked about that was backing up all of these investments, it was greatly exaggerated. So when the SEC got wind of this, they came to audit him, and him, knowing that he didn't have anything to back all this up, decided to take off. Now the question is he sitting on a beach in Aruba, or is he at the bottom of a lake somewhere? Because when he drove off, his car was found in Dunwoody, Georgia, and it had about $78,000 in cashier's checks just sitting in the seat. The FBI, however, does still believe that he's out there. He's on their top list for most wanted fraudsters, and he's got a $150,000 bounty on his head. So maybe you should brush out your detective magnifying glass and see if you can find him. Either way, here are a couple of ways you can avoid getting burned by people like this guy. Make sure that money invested with a firm is held by a custodian like Charles Schwab, and never by the advisor personally. Always ask questions, and if anything seems off, go with your gut. If it's really vague, like, oh, I have some apartment complexes, or oh, I have some gold, you might want to ask a little bit more and see if you can get down to the nitty-gritty, if there hasn't been a third-party audit. But really, one of the main takeaways is there are always going to be untrustworthy people out there, and are you going to be one of them, or are you going to serve God and be a good steward of what you have and what other people have as well? So join me on your stewardship journey, and like and subscribe for more interesting financial stories that you might not hear anywhere else.